Well, good morning YouTube, and welcome back to Retired for Life. So as you saw in the last video, I've got quite a few logs piled up now, so I'm going to have to spend some concentrated time up there getting the logs cut into lumber, because by the end of June we will have an issue with bugs getting into them, so I'm really going to have to get that running. But today we've got a decent day and it's time to pull the cover off of the RV trailer and start checking out just what it is that needs to be done. So we'll get the cover off of here. I've got the battery in the shop being topped up on the charger, and we'll see how things look on the inside after it has sat here for the winter like this. Hopefully we don't have any company inside there, but we'll find out. All right, there's the cover off. It looks like we suffered a little bit of damage to the inside of the cover from moving around in the wind. I'll have to figure out what caused that. I think I know what it was. And then figure a way of protecting that from happening again the next time. So let's go inside for the first time here this year and have a look. All right, let's see what we got. No, don't see any mice yet. Well, everything looks to be in one piece. Yeah, no sign of mice. All right, it looks like we're good. So we'll continue opening it up and have a look. Start figuring out what it is we need to do here. So here is the monster. I actually got it on the mill and got it on fairly easily. But it is at the absolute maximum capacity for this thing. I actually had to carve a little spot underneath here in order to get my hold down in place and not have it sticking back out too far. So we'll see how this thing cuts. It is monstrous. I think right now my plan is to just get this first side flat and take a few cuts, probably about 1.75 inches wide, where I can turn into 2x4s or 2x6s. So let's get the machine running, take a couple of cuts and see how it looks. What a beast. Some real waves in it because of the knots that are along here and the width of it. Well, I'm going to turn it and try it on a different angle. So we're up at the big sawmill today. We took about 12 trees out of the area that you saw us working in. It's a lot of work being selective about the trees that you take and making sure that we're doing it in a sustainable manner. but it's worth doing. So out of those trees, we've got more than enough logs to keep both the big sawmill going and my little one. And as I said the other day, we do need to get things done probably before the end of June, just to make sure things don't get filled with bugs. So it'll be a hustle to get going, but we're gonna get there. So I'm back up with another load, all set to go up to the log bunk here. It is pretty incredible what this little trailer will pull. I can't believe it sometimes. So we'll get this all loaded up, get it up to our log bunk, and that's going to be full. So it's the start of another gorgeous day out here. I have had to set up a secondary log bunk. I've got a bunch of old logs that I brought up from Arts that were kind of not in the greatest shape, so I'm going to try to salvage these. But part of the reason I had to make a secondary log bunk, just a temporary one, is because of what's in the real log bunk. So I'm now overflowing onto the ground in front of my original log bunk. Now I can't get too high on this, on the logs that I put on here, because of the limitations of the tractor. So I am as high as I can go comfortably with the tractor, but that means I need to kind of let it flow out a little bit in front. So these are all the fresh cut lumber, or fresh cut logs, I should say, soon to become lumber. So I thought I'd share with you this clip of the whole process of sawing up a log. It's sped up 20 times, so it'll go by very quickly. But this will give you an idea of the amount of work that goes into cutting a log up. So this was a nice clear log. So I used it for mainly 2x4s and 2x6s. I ended up getting 4 2x6s out of it and 5, or was it 6? I think it was 6 2x4s out of it and 2 planks for my board and batten, my 1" by 8" planks. So you'll see why I refer to this sawmill as a hobbyist sawmill or a homeowner sawmill. The Woodland Mills HM122 is a great sawmill, and it has just worked perfectly for me. It's really done well, but there is no automation to this. You have to handle the log every time you want to move it. You have to remove the boards when they're cut. Everything is done by hand. Even the feed is all done by hand, not like the bigger, fancier machines where there's a lot of automation involved. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the clip, so let's run it. So things have been going quite well with the sawmill so far. We're getting lots of boards piling up here for the board and batten. So we've got about 118 boards there, and my battens here, and my supply of 2x4s and 2x6s is slowly growing. So I did a little bit of calculating as to how far I can go with what I have right here. So I could do about 85 feet worth of 8-foot tall wall with the supply that I've got right now. So that's good. We're moving forward, but I still need to keep moving to get all of those fresh logs done before the end of June. Let's go out and have a look at our log bunk. So as you can see, the amount of logs on the log bunk has come down considerably. We've got about a third of them done, maybe a third of them done. That might be a little optimistic, but we're moving forward, and that's what matters. And we've got lots of nice weather coming. Now the problem with the nice weather and the rush on the sawmill to get a lot of this stuff done is I still have other things that I have to do. I'm going to have to cut the grass soon for one, and I need to start staining the shop. I've left it for too long now, so I've got to get to work on that. That's going to be one of the jobs for today, is to leave the sawmill for the time being and start getting some staining done on the shop. Can't really ask for better weather conditions right now for this job. It's not too hot at all. It's pretty comfortable, and in the mornings we're still in the shade here. So the goal today is to get as much trim painted as possible. That's all the bits around the door frames and the windows and that kind of thing on these two sides, both the front facing the driveway and the wall facing the house. So we'll get the gear out and get moving on that. Well, there's the first day of staining. We're moving along. So everything up along the ridge line here, that's the gray stain that's in place. And of course we've got half of this wall now stained with the dark stain. It's a lot of work, and boy does it ever suck it up. That's about 2 gallons just in this, and the doors as well that came off there. It's about 2 gallons of stain already used up. So tomorrow will be another day. It'll be down to the sawmill at Arts tomorrow, and we'll get back to this probably in another 2 or 3 days. But now is the time to get it done before the blistering heat of summer gets here. I wouldn't want to be standing on a ladder out in the sun here doing this. All right, it's tea time. Well, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you out on the trails the next time.